Hell yeah, motherfucker.
Hey, you know, Ben and Jerry's, they have a cemetery
What the fuck?
for the flavors that they retire.
Okay.
It's like a piece of land, and they put tombstones in it,
What?
all engraved with the flavor's name and the ingredients.
Do
I don't
they
know.
do they bury it? Like they have all the packaging and they wrap it up and they just stuff it in the ground.
In a casket?
We are gathered here today to remember.
Chunky monkey.
You're listening to Movies with Ron, the podcast where my older brother surprises me with a movie he saw because I don't go see him anymore. And he explains the whole thing to me from beginning to end. If you're listening right now, trust me, you'll like his versions better. It's okay if you've seen the movie. It's okay if you haven't seen it. The experience is unique, so just trust me.
I do.
My name's Chris. Your MC for the time being. Across from me is Rick, our sound guy.
Hello.
And also with us tonight, the man, the legend, the Ron.
Hey, guys.
We got a review.
All right.
Yeah. A new review by Cam Sparks 44,
Thanks, Cam.
titled Best Show on the Internet.
The internets.
I couldn't agree more.
He says, Movies with Ron is the #1 way to procrastinate working. Take Chris's word for it. You will definitely like these versions of movies better. Keep up the great work, guys.
Aw, thanks, Cam.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
We love you, man.
So, Ben Affleck is not directing The Batman.
I know. He was like, it has become clear to me that I cannot, in good conscience and in, skill, both play Batman and direct him. So, I just want to let everybody know we need a new director. I'm still in this though, okay?
Yeah.
There was a whole lot
I'm
of-
still giving it
Yeah.
my 100%.
There was a whole lot of that.
Okay. It's not bad. It could be wise.
What I want to know is if it's because of the performance of his last two movies.
I don't know.
Like he directed Live by Night, and it was like, "Wink, wink."
Yeah. I think he just can't direct big action like that. That movie would call for.
That is a big character to take on. I think, he's friends with, what's his name? Kevin Smith, big comic book guy, comic book men.
Yeah.
I'm sure they talk about it and how important it is and how psyched he is to be Batman.
I bet Ben Affleck does not talk to Kevin Smith much these days.
Come on.
I'm happy for him, man.
Yeah. He sent me a fruitcake on Christmas.
He's the fucking Batman.
Love him. Love that guy.
I saw the trailer for Wilson.
Yeah.
It looks pretty fucking good.
Right?
It looks like a fucking delight of a movie.
I know.
Like, oh my God.
Woody Harrelson, man.
Rick,
guys-
have you seen it?
You guys got to check this trailer out.
I haven't.
Oh, man. Woody Harrelson. He's like a dummy. He's like a kind of a nerd, I guess. Not much going for him. And he's like divorced. He's been divorced for a while.
Yeah.
And then he finds out that, like,
His ex-wife.
was pregnant with his child. And then they got divorced and he never found out.
Oh, wow.
And she gave the child up for adoption. So he, like, goes and gets the ex-wife, who's Laura Dern. And he's like, what the fuck? And then, like, together, they both go and find the daughter. And the daughter is, like, she's, like, having a hard time. She's, like, gothy and overweight. And I think, like, the first time they see her, the daughter is getting bullied.
Yeah.
And then Woody Harrelson is like, what the fuck? That's my daughter.
Yeah.
And, like, the girl, like, what the fuck's going on here? Yeah. He's, like, bowing up on the bully.
Yeah.
Looks good, though.
Huh.
All right. Ron, you saw my tweet about this. Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Big trailer came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I went looking for what you said.
Uh-huh.
Because your tweet was to Disney itself. If Emma Watson is dancing with a cartoon beast, it's not live action. And I watched it, and the trailer is like nothing but live action. It's all the crap in the village. and then you see like fucking Candlestick Man like walking around and stuff, and like all of that is CG.
Yeah. CG ain't live action.
No.
Right.
But I did. Now, when I watched the trailer, it was
There-
on my phone, and it was like in bright sunlight, so I couldn't really see it well.
There is a man-sized beast in that movie, and he is 100% fake.
Is he?
She's like dancing with him, and you can see she's grabbing thin air. She's grabbing a green person because she's like touching CGI. He is 100% CGI beast.
Yeah.
And it's sorry, no,
Well, that movie is going to kill.
probably.
Yeah.
But it's hard watching that. You know, I could deal with it with the Jungle Book because it's animals, but a story like this hinges too much on these two characters, and one of them isn't even real,
Yeah.
like in front of your eyes.
Hmm.
And the beast looks like fucking like the Danzig Satan, like he's weird. Like
So did the cartoon
Nah, the
beast.
cartoon, he had charming little horns. He had his charming little, he was more hairy, and he was more like teeth and nose.
Yeah.
This one, he's all horns. It's
Okay.
like,
Yeah, you got me
it's
there.
like, it's like Legend. It's been the whole movie.
What do you think, guys?
Look it up. All right, another trailer. This one's called Colossal. Heard of it?
No, never heard of it.
All right. It's kind of hipstery.
Oh, good.
Bear with me. What's her name? Catwoman, the new Catwoman. Anne Hathaway. She's like depressed. I don't know, low income, shitty life.
Yeah.
And she like fucking just laying on her bed watching TV. I don't know what's wrong with her. And across the world in like Beijing is a giant monster.
Yeah?
A Godzilla-like monster that's like terrorizing. And so the whole world like is engulfed in it. And she's like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
And more of the movie happens. You see a big male supporting cast, good actors. She ends up confronting all of them and being like, me and this big beast are like mentally connected.
Uh-huh.
And you don't know what's going on. But then like it shows the beast on the TV, the monster,
Uh-huh.
terrorizing halfway across the world, and then you see her, and she like starts dancing, and then the big monster in the city like starts dancing,
Oh, my
What
God.
the hell?
and like out of her like sickly narcissistic depression, she like manifested a giant monster, like on the planet.
Wow.
Yeah, and then like the hilarity ensues. That's the movie. It's called Colossal. It looks pretty good.
Sounds
Nice.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta recommend a movie from 1996. Dunstan Checks In.
Oh.
Yeah, Ron hates this movie.
I've never seen this
This movie is a
What?
Sunday brunch of a movie. All right, it is just Jason Alexander. It's a big dad role for him, and it was right after Seinfeld. It was such a different thing, but like he nails it as the dad. He has to do so much in this movie. Rupert Everett as Lord Rutledge.
See the bad guy?
Yeah.
All right.
He has Dunstan, who is an orangutan, who lives. He travels in this big duffel case, and him and Lord Rutledge go to hotels, and Lord Rutledge is like the schmoozer, and he finds out where the jewels are, and then Dunstan, the orangutan, dresses up in burglar outfits and goes to the rooms and like Mission Impossible's the jewels.
Wow.
Yeah, and they do it at Jason Alexander's hotel. That's what the story is.
Yeah.
He's the hotel manager. He's got the two boys, a young one and a teen, and they're the main characters, but they're kind of like don't pay attention to them because they're like '90s teen magazine boys.
Yeah.
Like, we're better about that thing nowadays, but the movie still has so much more to love.
Spare the rod and spoil the monkey.
Otho from Beetlejuice is in it. He like gets like
Deliver me from LL Bean.
he's like total physical slapstick in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul Rubens as the animal control guy.
All right.
Who like
God.
comes in
He's good.
and he's got like
He's got mugshots of all the different criminal monkeys.
he's got this giant rifle. He's just like swinging it around the hotel, and he's like, "This is an elephant tranquilizer." I was like, "What would it do to a monkey?" And he's like, "Probably kill it in a minute." And like, the problem of the story is Dunstan is doing his hijinks, but then like starts to make friends with the youngest boy. Doesn't know if he wants to be a burglar, but he's still being a burglar. But Jason Alexander's boss, the owner of the hotel, she's like visiting, and she wants a 6th star for the hotel.
Oh,
and
yes.
and that's where
It's review time.
that's the crux. That's where the conflict happens. And
Get this monkey out of here.
she's like visiting his office, Jason Alexander's, but he's got his son, the little boy. He's trying to like throw him out of the office. She doesn't like kids. Oh, she's already coming down the hallway, so he stuffs his son into the reservoir under the leg space under his desk, right? And fucking, they're supposed to go on vacation. The lady's like, "Oh, I want to throw this big party, so you can't take your family on vacation." And then the kid underneath is like, "Dad, you promised." And like fucking Jason Alexander is like looking down at him, like just fucking trust me, you know, whispering to his kid. And then the owner's husband, the old guy in the back, is like, "Why is he talking to his crotch?" He fucking asks that, and then afterwards, like this whole scene happens of him like dodging his boy under the desk, trying to deal with the owner. And then as the owner, she's on her way out, the husband's the last one to leave. He turns to Jason Alexander. He's like, "By the way, there's a small boy under your desk." He like knew the whole time. Like, what the fuck's going on? Fucking, all right. At one point, Dunstan lights a cigarette, and Lord Rutledge's immediate response is, "I thought you'd given up." Dunstan checks in. Check it out, people. IMDb on February 20th is getting rid of its message board system
I heard about that.
permanently.
What message board system? For what? Like the...
Well, IMDb is like, they get so much traffic. They're a big site if you like movies.
Yes.
And every performer, every crew person, and every title in films and movies, they all have their own message boards.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's a lot of information going on there. Like I learned shit that I would never know.
Yeah.
And usually when you go see a movie, if you like it, you go to the IMDb page, see what people are talking about.
Yeah. I've even got my own IMDb page.
You have one?
Yeah, because I made a set piece for that movie that Chris wrote, a short film.
Do you have one?
Yes, sir.
And you're on there.
Yeah, look it up. You got to be in a movie, Rick. I know you were in one of my movies, but
I was.
it never got finished.
You bastard. Am I the only brother here who doesn't have an IMDb?
I know, it's weird. First time I looked it up. But there's nothing on it, but it's there.
Damn. Okay. Well, I'm going to get right on that then.
Ron, you mentioned with the Resident Evil movies, they should have just made a separate story thing, just called it Alice.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking about writing my own ripoff.
Uh-huh.
I think I'll call it Alice.
Cool.
But that's what you went to see tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Chris and I were talking last night. Now, last time, remember we were talking about wait until this movie came out on DVD and then recording a commentary for it?
Okay.
Which we still might do.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Well, last night, Chris and I were having a couple shots. Just spitballing, talking about the show here and our most downloaded episodes. Okay? And our most downloaded episode is that of Assassin's Creed, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Huh.
Now, before that, our all-time most downloaded episode was our second episode ever, which was Warcraft.
Yeah, it is raining through that whole fucking thing. So our two biggest spikes were fucking video game movies.
Yeah.
Okay, I see where we're going here.
So, yeah,
So we've decided to suckle the teat.
we've decided to play the numbers. And so this is it. This is us playing Moneyball, like Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
So I looked at Chris and I was like, well, Looks like we're doing Resident Evil. Because like Rings came out this weekend,
Yeah.
you know, and
I'm
there's.
not excited about that, though.
I'm not either because I think I was a little too old when The Ring like hit.
Watch it be like number one.
Yeah, it probably will be. It looks pretty
It hasn't
good.
been marketed at all. I haven't seen anything.
I've seen a few things.
Oh, it's on a big digital billboard on the way back from work. Driving down the road. She's coming. And then it shows her coming out the TV.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh.
You know those billboards can be hacked?
Ooh, really?
Yeah, Google it. Hacked billboards. Digital ones.
Okay.
Cool. I so want to.
Like people have, you can't like put a big penis on the billboard. Like they'll notice right away. What you do is you make it almost the same
Right.
as the billboard, but you change certain things. And so only if you really pay attention do you realize. It's
Yeah.
funny. So Resident Evil. I can't say it. I've never been able to say it. Resident Evil.
You know what I am thoroughly impressed with? The whole time you were talking about Dunstan checks in, you were like, and the orangutan. And like every time you said it, it weirded me out. Because I'm
That's
like,
the wrong way, but it's the right way.
yeah. Like, fucking orangutans, man. And I am well aware that there is no G at the end, you know, but like, I was just like, I wonder if every time he's saying it, he's consciously trying to say it. She's like, Dunstan, he is an orangutan. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yes.
Orangutans.
Oh, that's like Sam Pennygun.
Tell them all what Sam Penny guns are.
Okay, a Sam Pennygun has 6 barrels that are
This
really
is a
long.
thing from our childhood.
And they're
They
big,
turn.
fast. Yeah, they turn. They turn really fast, and they
Big
shoot bullets
cylinder.
really fast. And
What was the movie?
the movie was T2,
Yeah.
Terminator 2. And Arnold Schwarzenegger shows up with one of these Sam Penny guns,
Yeah. Pulls it out.
and
It's the scene in the office building.
in
Yeah.
the office,
He's like unloading on all the cop cars.
Yeah.
just trying to disable them and cause havoc and whatnot. And a helicopter pilot yells out, "Jesus, he's got a Sam Penny gun."
In the midst of all these Wilhelm screams, there's, he's got a Sam Penny gun.
As it turns out, we turn on the closed captioning. It says
After saying that for a bunch
For
of
like
years.
years.
After saying Sam Penny gun.
We were children.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you got to get the Sam Penny gun in the video game. It'll take them all out. And then
I mean, we were
closed
kids,
captioning.
and we loved guns, so there was always like a pistol, an M16. Like, we would know the names, and that gun was named the Sam Penny gun. Oh, yeah? Well, I got a Sam Penny gun.
Well. We turn on the closed captioning. Somebody does. And finds out that the guy actually says he's got a damn minigun.
Yeah. And it was minigun.
And we were like, what?
Kind of quietly like,
I blame you guys for that
oh,
shit.
God. Okay, yeah, it's a minigun.
It's called a Sam Penny gun.
It'd be like, no. It's not a minigun. It's called a Sam Penny gun. Oh.
Invented by Dr. Samuel Penny, 1968.
Originally a hand crank weapon.
All right, Resident Evil.
Yep.
Yeah? Is it going to be hard?
No.
Is there a Sam Penny gun in it?
No.
Did
There
you
was
see
two
it in
things-
3D?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I almost had to because you were like, I want to record early. And like, I could have done that, but I was like, man, I don't want to spend a damn dime to see this movie. So I ended up using my prestige points
Yeah.
to actually pay for the ticket, so I didn't actually have to pay money.
Nice.
And yeah, it was about what I expected.
Yeah.
Does anybody know how many movies of this there actually is?
Yeah, there's
Is this like the
like
fifth
12?
one? Realistically, is this like the 5th or the 6th?
It's the 6th or 7th.
Okay. So I saw the first one, hated it. Watched the second one.
We
Didn't
saw
quite
that in the theater together.
the second one?
Yeah.
I didn't quite hate it as much,
It was a little more directly lifted from the games.
Yeah.
That's why.
but it was still very underwhelming.
Yeah.
And then I gave up.
Yeah.
And the rest of the world has continued on loving the Resident Evil franchise.
There are people who fucking love them, man.
Oh, yeah.
I used one.
3 of them were in the theater tonight.
I used one as a reason to go see a movie on a date to not watch the movie.
Oh, well, good for you,
Just-
Mr. Casanova.
Well,
Casanova Frankenstein.
well, it really sucks when you're,
Nemesis!
Nemesis!
There was a Nemesis in the second Resident Evil movie.
Yeah.
But there are those movies that you just go to see to go on a date. Because what if you wind up going and the movie is interesting, then it's kind of bothersome
Yeah.
if you're trying to get a kiss in. I think it was the third one.
This director, he made a British movie called Shopping with Jude Law.
Yeah.
It's about, punks in the future that crash their cars into storefronts. It's all about that. There's lots of crashing cars into the fronts of a store. And then they steal shit. It's a good movie. It was like this dude's Wunderkind movie.
Uh-huh.
And then he made, Mortal Kombat. And he did that. And Mortal Kombat, while I admit loving it when I was a kid,
Yeah.
it is a turd.
Yeah, it is an awful
An
movie.
absolute turd.
I still love it and remember it fondly,
Yeah,
but yeah, turd.
yeah. And he's never, changed.
Yeah,
I don't think.
yeah, I hear you.
It's just been straight turds. And he did Event Horizon, but even if that movie has a smidgen of goodness, I don't like this guy enough to watch that movie.
Yeah,
I watched it once.
I hate these Resident Evil movies. Yes, I admit I have not seen most of them, but I don't have to. Okay, when I saw the preview for this one, I totally, judged it against the first couple of films, and I turned out to be completely right. This was not a good movie.
Yeah.
Now, they threw a bunch of kitschy action shit at it, and definitely threw some money into the set design and dragons.
Yeah.
But nope, I'm not fooled. Not one bit. This movie was dumb. Yep. Now, I did pay close attention while I was watching it, looking for the scenes in which that woman got hurt and the guy got killed by the
Yeah.
Hummer. Remember,
Yeah.
they said the Hummer dropped on top of him.
Uh-huh.
All right? And I found him.
Oh, no.
So, you want to throw out bets now as to any returning characters that show up in this film from the games? You each get one guess for one person.
Rick, what do you think?
Leon.
I'll pick Jill.
I don't even think... Is Leon in any of the movies? At all?
I've never seen him.
There's 7 movies. I'm sure he's in one of those.
Well, all right. Are you guys ready? Ready to roll the ugliness?
Hell yeah.
Okay, Resident Evil, the final chapter on Movies with Ron. First of all, we get that same old thank you for coming to the movies from Mila Jovovich and Paul Anderson.
Yeah.
Then we got about 20 minutes of logos. So then it opens up with Alice, Mila Jovovich, talking, and she's like, "They say that history is written by the victors, and this is the history of the Umbrella Corporation." And then I guess she just tells the story of the last 15 movies, real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. But she does talk about how the Umbrella Corporation started, and it was this scientist, and he had a daughter, and she had that aging disease where she's going to be 95 when she's 20. Okay?
Yeah. Like Robin Williams from Jack.
Yeah. So he was working on a cure for that, and he invented the T virus. And it was working, and it was awesome. And then she's like, but there were certain side effects. And then everybody just starts getting eaten by the people around them and stuff like that. It shows a cable car, and there's a little boy who turns into a zombie, and he Yeah, he eats everybody in the cable car. So that scientist had a partner named Dr. Isaacs, who is like the lead head man of Umbrella now. And once everybody started getting eaten, the scientist was like, I'm pulling the plug, man. That's it. No more, no more. And Isaacs is like, yeah, no, man. Well, we're going to be rich. He's like, I can't. I just can't do it. And he's like, okay. And then his lackey, Wesker, just kills the dude with a plastic bag over his head. And then it shows his little daughter, who was cured, like around the corner. And he's like, yeah, don't worry, kid. Everything's going to be fine. We're just talking to your dad. Okay. So then, her dad's dead, and Isaacs inherits all of the company and also guardianship of the little girl. And then also, because of that, her controlling interest in the company, because she would have inherited her dad's shares.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh yeah, but before he died, the scientists like mapped the little girl's face and all of the way she talks and everything, and then they put her likeness on this new computer program that they invented called the Red Queen. So that's the little red hologram girl that you saw in the first movie.
Yeah.
That was the scientist's daughter. So then Mila's like, and my name is Alice, and this is the end of my story. Boom, boom, boom. So then it shows Washington, D.C. in total apocalyptic ruin. And it's overgrown, and now it's a desert. And then, like, this person in a overcoat, like, wakes up in some derelict bus and is, like, getting up, like, waking up and coughing. And staggering around, just kind of like, trying to live in this Mad Max world. And this person walks up to the reflecting pool, I think, outside in D.C.
Yeah.
And then she throws her hood back, and she's like, it's Alice. So she was like coughing like an old trucker. And it's Milla Jovovich. So then she bends down to drink out of the water, and then this giant asshole jumps out of the water and attacks her. He's like this big fat,
Zombie?
yeah, Michelin Man looking thing.
Okay.
And he's attacking her, but his face opens up, and like stuff comes out. Looks like
The stuff from the fourth game.
is it the fourth game?
That's Los Alamos
Yes.
virus.
Yeah, it looks like those guys. I think it was just like a little nod to that
What
they
was
put
the
in.
name of it?
Los Plegros?
Los
Los Bambinos.
That's been in the recent movies. That's what that is.
Okay. So whatever, she kills it. And then she's walking around, she's scavenging. She's looking around for, key cards and and shotgun shells and typewriter ink ribbons.
And herbs?
Yes, herbs.
Right.
Okay.
Herbs.
And then she gets attacked by a dragon.
Right away, huh?
Yep. Right there in the beginning of the movie.
Is it surprising to her?
To her, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Because she's in some, like, dark building, and she hears ting, 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 ting. Turns around. Yep. And gets attacked by a giant dragon. So she runs outside. And it's coming for her. So then she goes and, she jumps into a Hummer.
Oh.
Yeah. She starts trying to start it up. And it looks like it's been, 20 years since the end of the world. So why would it start up, right? But it does.
Okay.
And so she starts driving it. And then this dragon, which is real stupid looking.
Is it a real dragon or a zombie dragon? Anything
I don't know.
different about it?
It looks like it's got like a predator face.
Oh, really?
And then it's got a tail that has like 3 claws on the end so it can grab shit.
No. It's like part of the virus thing?
I guess.
Okay.
I haven't seen the other movies, man.
All right.
So she's driving and she's like looking at it in the rearview mirror, and the camera never fails to like get a good shot of her face, like looking at things like, I'm going to take care of this. Like, it really started to get annoying after a while, man. So then she she speeds down the road, and then she like screeches and turns around. Oh, but not before. She's still being chased by it, and it with its fingertail, it lifts the Hummer up a little bit. And I was like, ooh, here we go. And it just lifted it up a little bit, whatever. And then it dropped it down. And I was like, a man died right then.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That was the point?
Well, that was when a Hummer fell.
Okay, that's the only Hummer? All right.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And I was like, man, this is bullshit. A man's life for that stupid ass scene. Anyway, then she speeds down the road and then she turns around and she's like going to come straight at it or some shit. She's making her stupid faces. In the back of the Hummer, there's a Claymore mine. She's like reaching over, trying to grab it, and the dragon rips the roof off, and she arms the mine and then jumps out, and then it blows up. Stupid.
I took care of that.
Yeah. So then, okay. When the Hummer exploded, they actually put a CG Mila Jovovich body like flying away from it. Like it was weird looking. So then she's walking around. Now she's on foot again. And then she sees this weird thing like flying around in the sky. And we don't really see what it is, but I assumed it was like a drone or something. She's looking, and then she starts to hear this siren. And it's like an air raid siren. So she's looking around and she sees like the air raid speakers, okay, up on some pole. She's looking around and then it just stops. And then we see on some faraway computer screen that I guess this drone saw her face and it was like, Project Alice, this is her. It's Alice. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Umbrella. Like, they know she's here.
Yeah.
Okay. So then she walks down into some basement of some building. She's walking around just going, hello? Is anyone alive down here? Hello? Nothing. And then she looks at this, some guy's coat hanging, and she like finds a knife, like a hunting knife. She just pulls it out. And I was like, oh, okay. I wonder what she's going to do with this knife. Or if they just put that in like, playing the game, you found a knife. Turns out it was that. She never used the knife. And then she starts hearing this. And she turns around, and it's this old school printer printing a page out. Mm-hmm. And she goes up to it, and it's just printing out over and over and over, hello, Alice. So then she's like, what? And then all of a sudden, the Red Queen, the little red hologram of the girl, like, shows up. And it's just like, hello, Alice. And she's like, you. And Alice is like, oh, I thought I killed you or something? Or, I don't know, wiped you out?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you didn't. She's like, I need your help. She says this to Alice. And Alice is like, you need my help. Like, just like that. That is how she talks. Okay? Like, all on the part of Mila Jovovich, it is all overacting, and everyone else in the movie is all crap acting.
Yeah.
All right? Now, I generally hate to, like, bring it to acting if I don't like a movie. Like, oh, the acting was horrible. I always find that, like, kind of pretentious, but it was horrible. Okay? It was not good. So this Red Queen is talking to her, and she's like, yeah, there's only 4,000 people left on the planet. Umbrella wiped out everyone else. And Mila's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then she's like, so you need my help? She's like, yeah, so here's the thing. There was an antivirus to the T-virus that they made. They made an antidote, and it's an airborne antidote. It can solve everything. And when I heard that, I was like, man, what? This is like movie number 8? That hasn't been done yet? Like, now we find out that there was an antivirus made. And she's like, yeah, and you can get it, all right, and save all those 4,000 people. But you're going to have to go back to Raccoon City because it's located in the bottom of the hive.
Which was the building from
the very first film.
Yeah.
So the Red Queen is like, because of my programming, I'm not able to act against Umbrella, but you can. And she's like, okay, so like, why do you want to help me now? And she's like, get to the hive and then you'll find your answers. Okay. And she's also like this. She's like, oh, by the way, all those 4,000 people, they're all going to die in 36 hours. And I was like, how? They will all be wiped out. All of the human settlements. And still, I don't know how. Anyway, she's like, I'm resetting your watch. And she just reprograms Alice's watch right then and there. So it's a countdown timer. So the Red Queen's like, get there and make it right. So now she's driving into Raccoon City in some little shitbox car. She's driving, and then she runs over like one of those nail strips that the cops roll out across the highway to stop high-speed chases.
Yeah.
So then she crashes, and her car like goes underneath a like a semi trailer.
Yeah.
Like it would have decapitated her. And I was like, wait a minute. Is that where the stunt woman got hit? I thought it was a motorcycle thing. The motorcycle thing happens later. Anyway, she gets out and she's like,
That definitely would have degloved the face.
yeah. So she's like, she's walking around. She's all dazed. And then she looks over and she sees this brand new, really nice motorcycle with the Umbrella logo stamped on it. So she sees the Umbrella logo. She's like, oh man, this is trouble. And then some asshole in a, in a black assault suit jumps out and takes her hostage. She backs away and then ends up stepping into like a snare and then gets pulled up by a cable. And she's now hanging off of a bridge, maybe about 5 or 6 feet off the ground. But she's hanging by 1 foot upside down. And then a whole bunch of other guys come out in their black suits and helmets. And the first guy walks up to her, and she ends up like just getting kicked in the stomach a bunch of times. Okay, by him. He's just kicking her in the stomach over and over. And then she's laughing, and she goes, is that all you got? Okay. This is so dumb. And then she fights all of them, hanging upside down on this cable. And this is accomplished by very, very super fast cuts.
I heard that's a big thing in this movie.
Okay, yeah. Like, Mila Jovovich is old.
Yeah.
She can't do the action anymore. All right, so it's all super fast cuts. And it's like a whole bunch of those. And then they're all down. And then at the end, she's just like spinning around in a circle. Okay? It's like, that's the big thing in this movie is like, you don't really see a whole lot of the action because it all just goes by so quick. And then at the end, you always see Mila Jovovich still standing. Like that's like that's the crux of all the action of this movie.
Yeah.
So she kills them, and then she goes and gets on the bike, puts her hands on the handlebars, and then immediately gets electrocuted by it because she's an unauthorized user. So then she wakes up in cuffs. Turns out she's in the back of some super tank. Okay, this Umbrella super tank.
All right.
Yeah, and it's huge, man. It's like as long as like a house. Okay, and it's got these giant treads. Okay, but she's inside of it. She doesn't really know that yet. And there's these other survivors in there, and the whole thing is like there's all these crucifixes hanging from the ceiling, and she's like, "What's going on here?" And they're all like, "Shut up," And then Dr. Isaacs walks in. And he's like all like a little older looking than he was in the beginning of the film. He looked all nice and showered then before the end of the world. And he's like, yeah, totally. I found you. And she's like, I thought I killed you. And he's like, no, you killed and then she goes, a clone. Yeah, I killed your clone. And he's like, yep, you killed my clone. And it's like, yeah, that they can just make Resident Evil movies forever.
Yeah.
Because of that crap. Okay.
Jeez.
So then she's like, you could end all of this. And he's like, whoa, you know about the antivirus? Who told you? You know what? It doesn't matter. And then he just says to all the other survivors, he's like, she's a non-believer. Remember, there's all these crucifixes hanging. And what do we do with non-believers? And they all just start chanting, cast her out, cast her out. And I was really wanting them all to turn to her and then have those weird faces, that we were just talking about from the fourth game. Thought it would have been a good time to like roll that out, but no. Anyway, they pick her up. They throw her out the back of the tank, and they're dragging her by a wire. So then she's just running, and behind her is 500 billion zombies following the tank down this highway. And it's like the biggest horde of zombies you've ever seen in any movie ever.
So they're like running zombies?
They are.
Okay.
So she's running in front of this horde, and then Isaacs gets on top of the tank, and he's like, yeah, we're going to reach Raccoon City in like 12 hours, so I doubt you can run for that long, baby. Let me know when she's ready to talk. And then he walks back inside. So you're like, whoa, how's she going to get out of this one? She does. They like knock a car over or something like that, because the tank can just run through all of the parked cars on the highway, all right, and just knock them to the side and, without even slowing down. So that happens, and the guard that's watching her is like looking away, and then he looks back and she's not there. And then he turns around and she's like punching him in the face, kicking him. She like jumped up on top of the tank, whatever. Whole bunch of super fast cuts, doing all that crap. So then, she's up there kicking all the guards' ass. And then Dr. Isaacs gets up there, and he's like an older guy. And he just gets into this like super soldier fist fight with her. Okay? He's about to throw her off. She's about to throw him off a whole bunch of times. And then she's dangling down. She looks in this window and sees another red motorcycle. So then she hits the button, and it's like the red motorcycles are like an escape hatch type thing. Okay? They just come out the side of the tank, and then you can get on it and ride away from it if you want. So she's about to get on it, and then he's like, dude, you got electrocuted by the last one. Okay, you're not going to be able to use it. So then she just cuts his hand off. And when she does it, she cuts his hand off with like one quick swipe, of the knife she picked up.
Okay,
there you go. Now I get it. One quick swipe of the knife, the hand is just immediately gone, and he just goes, like he screams way too much, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, it did not fit. She picks it up. I guess she slams it on the motorcycle and then drives away. Uses his fingerprints. I don't care. So she's riding in front of the tank now, and now the dipshit driving the tank is like, you putting her in the sights of the super technical targeting system. And he's like firing all of these rockets and Sam Penny guns at her, and they don't hit her. They pull the doctor aside, and they like stretch some weird skin over his wound, and it like immediately seals up. Okay. So then we see that guy Wesker, and this whole movie long he's like down in the depths of the hive, and he's like kind of running things, while Dr. Isaacs, his boss, is out. The room is very dark. Okay, it's like lit by like candlelight and stuff like that. He's wearing sunglasses. Okay, it's real dumb. That is stupid. So then the Red Queen is talking to him, and she's like, yep, Alice is coming. Okay, she's going to be here soon. And he's like, alert our operative in Raccoon City. So they got a spy there. She shows up at Raccoon City, and it's all in ruins, and she's like, welcome home. And there is this giant crater in the middle of it. I don't know if that happened in the first movie. I think it did. I don't know. So then she's riding into Raccoon City, and she sees like a mirror flash on top of a building, like somebody's watching her. Okay? And while she's looking at that, then she just like looks in front of her. Oh, and there's like a pole or a bar laying across the road, and she just runs into it at full speed. And it knocks her off the bike, and like that's where that stunt woman got hurt. It's like very violent looking.
There's like a pipe laying on the ground?
No, it's like laying across the road, but like 3 or 4 feet in the air.
Oh.
So it hits
So it just
her.
clotheslines her right off of the bike.
Oh, okay.
How far into the movie are we?
20 minutes.
Jeez.
Why?
2 people have already...
2 people are hurt. Like,
Yeah,
Severely
one's
hurt.
dead, one's severely hurt.
I know.
Jesus.
It was worth it.
Oh, yeah.
So she's knocked off of the bike, and then she gets taken prisoner. She wakes up, and there's a whole bunch of, bunch of humans, and they're like, hey, what are you? What are you doing here? What's going on? And then some dude wants to kill her. He's being an ass. He's pointing his gun at her, and then she, takes the gun from him, and now she has him hostage, okay? And he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then the guy who was being a jerk is like, I'm going to kill you both. Like, it's not going to work, her taking the buddy hostage. And he's like, hey, would you put the guy that she's holding, would you put your gun down? Because he's just going to kill us both. And then somebody goes, Alice? And then we get our returning character. You were both wrong. It's Claire. So then, whatever. They're all talking. They're the resistance. And she's like, well, Umbrella's coming, and they have an army of zombies with them. They're going to roll in here, and they're going to kill everybody. But you know what? What if we could end this? And then she tells them about the the antivirus. Because the antivirus will kill anything infected with the T virus. So Claire is like, well, that'll kill you, Alice. And Alice is like, I know. It's time to end this. This is the final chapter. She didn't actually say that, but she should have. So now they're just getting ready for Umbrella to show up. So then Wesker, he's talking to Isaacs on the phone, and he's like, yeah, our informant says she's getting ready to fight you when you show up. So Isaacs is like, yeah, cool, all right, that's fine. Then he goes and he opens up some locker and he pulls out this white machete, and like there's like a Bible verse on it, and you never see that ever again in the movie.
Dumb.
So dumb. So then Alice is talking to their grease monkey girl. She's the mechanic, and she's like, 16, but she's like super talented. She's like, my dad used to run a chop shop. And Alice is like, well, that's cool, because I'm going to need you to like make some modifications to this crane. And then the grease monkey girl like smiles at her. And it was like, oh man, it was just so stupid.
Yeah.
Man.
I can imagine. Jeez.
So the leader of the resistance, his name is Doc. And he's like, super nice guy to her. Like, he's probably going to be a real help, And then there's also this other guy, the guy that was being a jerk when they first met. He's just like, doesn't trust her, and he's like, I want to kill her. Let's kill everybody. Everybody's an asshole. Fuck you. And the movie is like, that's the bad guy. That's the informant.
Yeah.
Okay? But you watching it, you're like, it's Doc. It's the nice guy.
Yeah, like you know it right away.
Right away.
Okay.
So now Alice is in charge, for some reason. She just showed up. It's no big deal. Let's put her in charge. So she's like in charge of all the, getting ready for battle. So then somebody's like, they're here. And they look off in the distance. They see what she told them was coming. And then this guy just goes, my God, it's an army. It's like, she said that, dude. She actually said they've got an army with them. It's an army. So, then Mila Jovovich is like yelling things like, prepare to fire. And she had been out in front of the building, which is just like a circular building. It's a high rise, but it's round. Okay. And it's completely hollowed out in the center. She had been out there spray painting numbers on the ground. Like, William Wallace pouring oil in the battlefield and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Getting ready with strategy. I forgot to mention, there were actually 2 tanks driving side by side.
Is this what they're preparing for battle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so they show up, the tanks. And she's like, fire! And then the modified crane is now a catapult, and they are launching flaming barrels of gasoline. Like, this is all the gasoline that these people have saved up and now have at the top of a high-rise building for some reason. And they're just lighting them on fire and launching them. The very first one they shoot destroys the other tank. Because of the numbers on the road.
Yeah.
So one tank goes down, and inside the other tank, you see Dr. Isaacs, and he sees that happen, and then he just goes, damn her. Just so stupid, man. And then he goes, release the bait. And then they throw another girl out the back of the tank, and she's tethered, and there's all these zombies that are about to eat her. So then Alice is like, there's a survivor, open the gate. So they open up the gate, because Alice is like, never leave a man behind. I'll take care of this. So then they all start to like shoot the zombies and keep them off of the girl. The girl is running. She gets free of the tether somehow, and then she runs, and she is just about to make it into the gate when Isaacs is like, shoot her in the head. So they kill the girl, and then Alice is like, oh no! And then all the zombies start coming in because they open the gate. So Isaacs knows what he's doing too. Also, I noticed during this big fight, one of these guys in the Resistance has a nail gun. That is his weapon. Yeah. A nail gun that is belt-fed from a backpack on his back.
Mm.
A nail gun, ladies and gentlemen.
Is that cool?
No, that's dumb.
Oh, you could just get a lot of headshots, take some zombies down. Oh,
It's a belt-fed nail gun, man, like a Sam Penny gun. With a backpack full of nail ammo? Come on, what the fuck?
like 3-inch nails, like a regular nail gun.
Yes.
Yeah, for killing zombies, right? Wouldn't it take just a nail? Hammer a nail into a zombie's head and the zombie's
Sure.
gone?
Who the hell makes a belt-fed ammo system for a nail gun? That's what I'm talking about, man.
Well, they got that 16-year-old grease monkey.
Man, you like this movie. You know me, sounds good. Belt-fed nail gun? Nothing wrong with that.
At first, I thought you were trying to say, like, it was cool.
No.
Well, DeWalt makes a nail gun. That is kind of like a.
Lots
belt-fed-
of people make nail guns.
A belt-fed
like an
nail gun.
It looks like a rifle.
Why haven't we seen this sooner? That's what I expected.
Everybody stop talking about nail guns. So then the zombies are right there at the building, and then they release like the last trap, which is, cut some wires, and then a bunch of weight will drop a bunch of crap off of the top of the building and crush all these zombies, and it hardly works. So then all the zombies are running into the building, okay? And they're in there, and the rest of the building is like barricaded, so they're all like being corralled into the center of this building, which is round and hollowed out from top to bottom.
Uh-huh.
Then the coolest part in this movie happens. They're all trapped. That whole horde of zombies is now, well, not the whole, okay, but a whole bunch of them. They're all in this building, and then they just start pouring all of this gasoline down from like the 50th story of this building, and then they light the streams. So it's like there's 4 waterfalls of fire just like pouring down onto these zombies. It was actually really cool looking.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, because there's a bunch of survivors, a whole bunch of them are dying and everything. And at that point, Isaacs is like, she's on the roof, target the roof. And then they just start shooting, guns and rockets at it. And then Alice escapes via zip line. It's very heroic looking. Through the fire! They're like, where is she? And she's on top of the tank, okay? And she just starts pouring a bunch of gasoline into the top of the tank. And they're like, oh my God, close the vents. And then she lights it. And then all of this fire just goes, whoom! Like out the windows of the tank. So everybody inside is dead. And I was like, there's a bunch of survivors in there.
There's a bunch of gas in this movie.
A whole bunch of gas. When she did that to the tank, there was a lone clap in the theater. It was a very excited clap.
Oh, yeah.
One guy. Anyway, there's like a survivor that gets out and he starts fist fighting her. And she's like, you're fast, but not too bright. And then that same clapping dude just like, ha ha ha. Anyway, she takes the guy down, whatever. So she's in the tank and she's looking for Isaac's body. She can't find it. She walks into the room where the survivors were, and they're all still alive. She didn't pour any gas in there. So then she's like, where's Isaacs? And they just point out the door like, he left. Okay. So now they have taken control of the tank, and they're driving it. And they make the guy that she beat and called not too smart, like, the new bait. So she's like, we got to go to the hive, to Claire. And Claire, who I don't think was ever at the hive, is just like, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's our only hope, because now, on the horizon, they see more tanks coming. I guess there's other teams. So the hive is down in the center of that crater. So now they got to run down the crater. And a whole bunch of other survivors are like, we know where you're going. You're going into the pit. We want to go with you. And she's like, grab some gear. You're gonna need it. And then they all just like tie or they clip ropes into all their climbing gear that they all have. And then there's this sequence of them just like running down the cliff face of this crater. At that point, Wesker, he's there and he's like watching crap. He's calling all the shots in the hive. And he just goes, release the Cerberus. And so then they start getting chased by those demon dogs, the zombie dogs, right? It's so dark you never see them really.
Yeah.
Like it was not done well. You can sort of tell that their faces are opening up like the Predator, but there's no beauty shots of them whatsoever. There is like 500 of them though, and they're chasing these people, and they're all running, and all those survivors that were like, we want to go with you, they're all getting killed because there's just like a core group of like 5 or 6 of them that are going to make it into the hive. You're well aware that that's what's going to happen,
Yeah.
So then in the center of the crater, there's like a big lake. And then they just jump off of that cliff and then land in the water. And then some of the dogs follow them. And you're like, whoa, man, okay, that would suck. But then those dogs, they just sink. And it shows them. Like, it takes time to show the dogs underwater, like, snarling and snapping and just sinking down. And then there's like 500 dogs up there on the cliff, just like looking down, not jumping in. And then they all go like, ruff, ruff. And then they just run to the sides, like, we'll get them later. So then everybody's like getting out of the water on the other side of the lake and everything's going to be okay. And then all those dogs show up right then. So now they're getting chased and more people are dying. So they're all getting chased and they make it to the entrance to the hive, which is exposed from the explosion. And all the dogs just stop. And then they run away. And they're like, whoa, why'd they stop? What's going on? And Alice is like, I think they're scared. Of what? Of whatever's in here. So now they walk in. Right then, Wesker is like, shield the hive. Okay. And now this giant room, it turns out that it's all just a gate. And the walls are just like clink, 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 like moving together.
Yeah.
So they all have to run. And the last one in there is Alice, and she's has to fight a zombie real quick, and then she makes it out in time. So then the Red Queen shows up, and she's like, hey, remember when you wanted to know why I would help you? And I said, just get here and you'll get all your answers. Well, here you go. Now, shortly after the thing happened from the first movie, the outbreak, there was a video uploaded to the internet of, well, you know what? I'll just show it to you. And it's a meeting of the Umbrella Corporation's high command, led by Dr. Isaacs. And he's talking to this big boardroom full of people. And he's like, the world is ending, you guys. There's like disease and famine and global warming, like, rest assured, the world is ending. And then everybody's like, what do we do? And he goes, we're going to end it ourselves. We're going to create our own flood. Okay. And then the world is going to be okay. After that, it's going to be ripe for, our control. Yeah. And, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to wipe everybody out with a zombie killing T-virus. This is like movie number 8. And I was like, we're just now finding out why it all happened. What's going on?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he decided to end the world on purpose. And everybody in the room is just like, yes, hear, hear. Sounds good. Kill Earth. Okay, I think it was around this point. I'm in the theater watching this. And then some asshole walks up the stairs and is standing in front of my row of seats, okay? Uh-huh. Not like right in front of me, but like he's standing on the stairs. And he just stops right in front of my row. Okay, I look at him, and he's wearing a Resident Evil t-shirt with a Umbrella Corporation sweatshirt over it.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, standing there. Just standing there. And he pulls out a phone, and he's like looking at the phone. And he's like not going anywhere. And he, I think, is the guy that was clapping earlier. And they were all sitting out, like on the floor level. Uh-huh. Okay? And I was like, oh my God. This guy is about to shoot up this theater.
Jeez.
And I just stopped watching the movie and just stared at him.
Oh, my God.
He did look up and see me looking.
Right after the part where the bad guy explains.
Yeah. We're going to
cleanse
end the world. Yes. I was like, that thing is happening.
I've been waiting for this moment during this podcast.
And I was just like staring at him like, get a good look, man. All right. I thought about pulling out my phone and like snapping a flash photo of him so everybody would like, look over.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he just left and went back to his seat. And I was like, what the hell?
That's fucking weird.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
So now the timer on her watch is like, it's like 37 minutes to go. The Red Queen is like, all of humanity is going to die in 37 minutes. I'm still not going to make it clear to you how that's going to happen, but they got 37 minutes to live. Okay? So you have to get that antivirus and get it airborne before that. All right? And, they're all standing around listening to her, and then the Red Queen is like, "Oh yeah, Alice, here, check this out." And then up from the console comes a little earpiece, and she's like, "Put that in your ear." She puts it in her ear, and then only she can hear the Red Queen, who says, yeah, they have an operative in Raccoon City, and there is like a very high % chance that that person is standing behind you right now in your little group of friends.
Okay.
And I'm just like, it's Doc. It's a nice guy. Okay, now remember, and that the jerk guy, he's still there, and they keep making him say stupid, mean crap.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, he like saves her, and she's like, "Why did you save me?" And he's like, "Whatever. This is it. This is what he says. He goes, "Whatever. I misjudged you. Blow me." He actually says that.
What the fuck?
Yeah. She's like, "Look, we really need to make people think that he is the bad guy." And it turns out that Dr. Isaacs, he is still alive, and he gets picked up by another tank. So now he's headed for the hive too, okay? He ends up killing everybody inside the tank, like going rogue, okay? Even though he's like in charge.
Yeah.
Okay? And he's driving the tank himself. And it shows him like driving the tank, eating like a bag of mixed nuts or something, and like all of his guards are like dead around him. There's like no reason for that. So now the survivors that are inside the hive, they have to go through this giant fan that's like 25 feet tall, but it's not moving. And they're like, "What's that?" "It's the air intake for the hive, why is it so dark in here?" "Well, this is a damaged part of the hive, so the power is like sporadic, keeps going in and out. So come on, let's go in real quick." Now, the last girl to go through it is the Grease Monkey girl, and she was scared of it. She didn't want it to turn on, which then it did while she was inside of it. So Alice had to go in and pull her out really quick. So they all make it through. And somebody points at a camera that's like moving around watching them, and the little grease monkey girl like flips it off. Okay, and then we see Wesker looking at her, flipping him off, and he just says to the computer, he's like, "Reverse the polarity of that fan." So then the fan like slows down, and they're like, "What's going on?" And then it starts going the other way, and now they're all getting sucked into it, and they're all getting sucked on.
They're all getting sucked.
They're all getting sucked on. Okay, so they're all like holding on to stuff, and their legs are flying up in the air. And
Does she tell that guy to blow her?
no,
That'd be a good moment.
yeah. So they're kind of like up in the air in like a big long human chain, and the very last link on the chain is the Grease Monkey girl, and she's like, "Ah!" Okay. Now she is connected to Alice by a backpack. The Grease Monkey girl is holding onto a backpack, and Alice is holding on to the other side of the backpack. And Alice is like, "I'm gonna get you, girl. It's fine. I've got this." Okay. And she's like trying to help her and pull her in, and then the Grease Monkey girl just like flies into the fan and gets eviscerated.
Oh.
Oh my god.
And Alice is like, "No." And then the power goes out again, so the fan just stops. So if they had just like held on for another second,
Yeah.
all the lights go off, and they have to just just keep walking. Then they all enter this hallway that is like an octagonal shaft, okay? And they're walking, and they're going, and they're going, and then the power starts coming on again. Well, so far, every time the power comes on, some sort of trap happens. So they're all like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, get ready." And then nothing happens. And I was like, "Wait, is this the laser hallway?" That was a thing, right? That was like the worst thing about the first movie.
Yeah.
The dumbest thing ever. And it turns out no. And nothing happens. So they're all like, "All right then, let's go." And then some faceless survivor that's with them just like, falls down into a trapdoor that opens up. And he falls down a shaft, and then he lands on top of like a grate that's, just at the bottom of the shaft. Now, from an outside perspective, we see that underneath that grate is a giant cavern that looks like that crap in the Lord of the Rings that Gandalf fell into with that demon, okay?
Yeah.
It's huge and deep and dark. All right. And he sees down into it, and because he like drops his flashlight, and he's like, whoa, whoa. And then these 3 little green LEDs start going, 1, 2, 3. Door opens up. And then, oh, he's hanging by the door. Oh my God, over this hopeless chasm. And what am I going to do? Oh man, oh man. And then the 3 green LEDs start turning red, and they go, 1, 2, 3. And then the door just shuts and cuts off his fingers, and he falls. So then Alice and the rest of the gang is like, oh man, did you see what just happened? And then they all fall down into their own trapdoors. Okay, we don't really see where any of them go except for Alice, and she ends up in this weird room that's like full of like somebody's been butchering humans for meat, you know? And we can tell that there's something in there that's like stalking her and lurking in the shadows. Okay, something that's been using Umbrella logo chainsaws to cut up people to eat. And then it attacks her, okay? And it's a giant dude, okay, with just a hopeless amount of sharp teeth in his head. Okay, just like, he opened his mouth and he has like 200 teeth, okay, on the top and bottom. It's like, that was his whole thing. And he's like running around trying to get her.
Is he like inhumanly large?
Yes, okay. And he looks like there is no way this guy needed to cut up people. he just eats them. It's fine. You know, this isn't the guy that was doing that. It can't be. You know, he's also like a maniac. Like he doesn't have any intelligence. It looks like, you know.
Yeah.
And certainly not the the kind of organizational skill that would require like hanging humans on hooks. You know, pulling out the knives, gassing up the chainsaw, and then sitting down to dinner. You know. So she's fighting him, okay, and she's got these 2 pistols, one in each hand, and she's pointing them towards the camera, and we see this might have been a little 3D moment. We see that each pistol has 2 barrels. Okay, so they're like super guns, and she's shooting them in slow motion. Okay, at one point, there was another survivor, this guy named Razor, and he like fell down into the same place with her, and he was like, "Okay, let's do this, baby. Let's get out of here." And then the thing, attacked again, and it killed him immediately. And so she's running, and it turns out that this big monster has like a leash on him, like a chain. Okay, and it's like on a reel. So she's like running, and the chain is running out, the reel is running out, and then it hits its end. So now he can't get to her anymore. And like, it looks like it killed him when he hit the end of his chain. It's like, what the hell's going on? And then she just turns around and stabs him in the head. It was really confusing and stupid. And while she killed it, there was plenty of like her doing flips off of the walls and then slow motion spin kicks. Okay. Anyway, her buddy Razor is dead, and now Doc shows up, the nice guy.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's with her. And then it shows Wesker, and the Red Queen is like, yeah, if she keeps on her current course, she's going to be here in this room with you in like 7 minutes, dude. So you might be a little screwed. And he's like, wake them up. And she's like, I was told to only do that in dire emergencies. And he's like, override, wake them up now. And there's these 2, like, cryogenic coffins in the room there, okay? Mm-hmm. And they start, like, activating. So it's going to be some sort of weird mutants, right?
Yeah.
So then it shows the other, the boss, Dr. Isaacs, who, like, killed everybody and killed all of his own men in his tank. And he's, like, driving it down the crater, okay? And he's like, crazy with revenge. And he's driving down the crater, and it's too steep. And then it gets down to the end, and it, like, stalls out right in the middle of a zombie horde. So he's, like, screwed. And he can hear them all, like, bonk, bonk, bonk on the outside of the tank. Then we see Claire wakes up, and she just wakes up in some glass box. Okay? And she can't get out. And I don't know how the hell she did this, but she, like, pulls a single bullet out of her pocket, is somehow able to remove the slug from the shell, and then like pours the powder into something, makes a fuse, whatever. She pulls out a bullet out of her pocket and like makes a fucking bomb out of it, and then like blows the side of the cage off. What the hell, man?
Yeah.
Right? Dude, that happened in this movie. This is so stupid.
Movie magic.
To shield herself from the blast, she like laid down on the bottom of the box and just pointed her boots at the explosion, which is a very small explosion. All she's doing is like popping the shite off of the box, right?
Yeah.
You know, anyway. So then Alice and Doc are walking, and they walk through this hallway, and it's all like dirty and greasy and grimy all over the walls, right? And she's like looking around at it, and she's like, wait. And she puts her hand on the wall and then wipes the grease away, and from behind the grease is like bright light. And she like looks into it, and then she gets a flashback. And I was like, oh my God. And then her flashback is, it's the laser hallway. And now it's like, it's been like 20 years or so, and it's just all dirty. And she just looks at Doc and goes, we got to get out of here. And then they just run. And that was it.
Oh.
That's the return of the laser hallway, right?
All right.
So they go into this other room where there's like a desk, and there's a couple of backpacks, and there's some guns. And she hands a gun to Doc. And he's like, why? Okay, he was the nail gun dude. And
Yeah.
she's like, it's got better firepower. And I was like, okay, so he's definitely the traitor, and she just gave him a gun with no bullets. That is what just happened. Because later he's going to try to shoot her, and it's going to go click, click.
Okay.
Right? That didn't happen. I was so pissed off. That room turns out to be the elevator for the Hive. And then, I don't know, she pushes a button, they go down. And now, underneath them, we see like hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands of all of these other cryotube things.
Yeah.
Okay? And Doc is like, whoa, what are they? What is this? And she's like, it's people. It's the Umbrella Corporation super rich. This is the Noah's Ark that they were doing. Like, they were going to wipe the planet clean, and then they were all going to wake up and be cool.
Oh, okay.
Now it shows Wesker, and we get to see who he woke up, and it was Dr. Isaacs, the original.
Yeah.
So the other Dr. Isaacs is a clone. And this one's all clean and showered, and he's like, why did you wake me up? Is everything okay now? No, we're under attack. And he's like, God, we've been betrayed. And he looks at the hologram computer girl, who's like, oh no, he knows. Then we see the clone Isaac, who's out there stuck on the tank in the middle of the zombies. And he just like gets up on the roof, and he just like starts yelling at all the zombies. And he's like, follow me! Come on over here! And then he just starts running. And, he gets past whatever were in front of him, and now the whole horde is just chasing him on foot.
Yeah.
And he runs off into the darkness towards the Hive, I guess. And I can see he's going to be the Deus Ex Machina, that's going to show up.
Yeah.
Okay? So Claire had made it out of her box with the bullet bomb, and she's running, and then we saw, like, Wesker was, like, behind her, like, lurking in the shadows. So Alice walks into that inner sanctum and finds Dr. Isaacs, and he's like, yeah, I'm the real Dr. Isaacs. It's all good. Okay. Everybody else is a clone. Don't worry. But come on in, you're probably pretty tired. Have a seat. Put your guns down, though, And so she puts her guns down. Or she doesn't, because she's like, no, why? And he's like, well, you're going to, because here I have this. And he pulls out of his jacket the vial of green T-virus crap, the antivirus. And he's like, this is the only one of these, baby. Okay. And if I drop it in here, it is airborne, but we're underground and it won't do anything. Okay. So put your guns down. So she puts them down. And then behind her is Doc holding the gun she gave him, not putting it down.
Yeah.
So then we get this really stupid and weird sequence where she's looking at the table in front of them, which has like, some ice for scotch, and there's like the decanter of scotch, there's fountain pen, there's stuff a guy needs down there. And she starts she looks at the ice pick, and then she does this Sherlock Holmes thing where she like time stops and she breaks down how it's going to work if she goes for the ice pick to stab him in the eye. Okay. And then she like sees the decanter, and she does the same thing, like, or I could take the decanter and he would come at me and I would dodge his punch, and then I would smash his face with the decanter. And then the same kind of thing with the pen, right?
Yeah.
So she's looking at all this stuff, and then she just hears Isaacs go, "Don't bother. You're not going to make it to the ice pick, the decanter, or the pen." And she, like, looks up at him, like, what? And then we see from his point of view, and he's got, like, computer software in his brain. And he has super predictability combat program running in his brain. And that is what it says. It says, like, combat prediction. And then it, like, goes like, she could use the ice pick as a weapon against you. And then it just shows his Sherlock Holmes responses to all of her attacks. And in all of those, he makes it to her first and kills her. And this was like 5 minutes of this shit.
Jesus.
Okay, so at that point, when Alice was walking in, before she met Isaacs, she looked over to her left and just saw some empty wheelchair sitting there. And I was like, a wheelchair? Yeah. Is that from, like, must be something from one of the other movies. Because they just showed it real quick, and that was it. And then she has all that predictability sequence, okay? At this point, the Red Queen shows up, and they're like, oh, yeah, I guess we'll kill you now. I don't care. And then the wheelchair, you hear it going, and then there's this old lady coming in on the wheelchair. And we look at her, we get a good look, and it is Mila Jovovich in old lady makeup.
Yeah.
And it turns out that the old lady is the little girl from the beginning of the movie. Okay. And then Dr. Isaacs is like, yeah, Alice, you're a clone. And she's like, I am not a clone. And apparently, because they showed him, he, like, opened a drawer full of, like, other Mila Jovovich heads, like severed heads. I guess something happened in one of the other movies where they were dealing with Alice clones. I don't know. But this Alice is supposed to be the real Alice. And it turns out that she's just a clone of the little girl. Okay, so now they're standing there, and it's the old lady in the chair, the little girl hologram, and then Alice. And they are all the same person. So old Alice is looking at Mila Jovovich and goes like, please kill him. Kill him now. Okay, because now, remember, she's rich. She's like wearing nice clothes. She was in one of the cryo tubes because she has controlling interests of the company. She's like a 51% stockholder. And one funny thing that this Isaac says, he's like, oh, look at you all together. The Trinity of bitches. United in your hatred. And old Alice is like, yeah, your little pal Wesker over there, he has to do what I say because he's still an employee. And then Wesker goes like, I'm not going to do what you say. My loyalty lies with him. Okay. And then the lady's like, yeah, I know. Wesker, you're fired. And then the Red Queen, who can't go against her prime directive of not killing anybody in Omni Consumer Products, she just uses the building to kill Wesker. She just like sends something down crushing on him. So he's like pinned underneath it, and he's like, he might as well be dead, but he's not quite. So then Dr. Isaac's like, runs away! And the three Alices are talking, and they're like, yeah, you know what? You got to do it. You got to kill him. You got to get that stuff and get it airborne. She's like, okay, yeah, but I'm going to need a really fast way to the top and, a way to get the crap in the air. So Mila Jovovich walks over to Wesker and hands him a suicide switch. And she's like, if you keep your hand on this button, this building will not explode. And I was just like, why wouldn't he just let it go? And just kill them all? Yeah, I guess I don't know. I still don't know. But he like holds the button down. Okay. So Alice runs off, and then old Alice like pushes some buttons, and then this little contact lens comes up out of the console. She puts it in her own eye, and then like all of these images from her childhood start showing up on the screen. And then Wesker is like, help me, to her, and she's like, will you just die? Just shut up and die. And it shows Dr. Isaacs, and he is shutting down the Red Queen. But before she goes offline, she's like, you're all going to die down here. And then the lone clap happened again. So now they're on that elevator, okay, Alice and Claire, who has joined the party now, and Dr. Isaacs, and they're all having a big fight, okay, on the elevator that's going up in between all these cryo tubes. And it really reminded me of the Emperor and Yoda fighting in the Galactic Senate. in one of them old stupid Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
The elevator makes it back to the top. Claire gets knocked out or something, and now Alice and Isaacs are fighting. And he's got all of these like super enhancements, right? So he can like hold his own. So they're like having a real awesome fight. And they end up in the laser hallway. So power comes on, and Isaac's like punches some buttons on the keyboard, and then those old lasers start turning on again. Okay? And Mila's just like jumping, and evading them, and doing all of these slow motion acrobatic jumps. And the dude's clapping down there in the bottom of the theater. He's loving this.
Yeah.
Okay? So they're fighting, and they're both evading them. Okay? So the lasers stop for a while, and then Isaacs is just like smashing her around, into the sides of the hallway, breaking the glass and everything. And she starts laughing. And he's like looking at her like, why are you laughing? And she says the stupidest line yet in this movie. And she just goes, is that all you got? And I was like, wait, she already said that. She said that to the dudes when she was hanging off the bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's more. She goes, is that all you got? And he's like looking at her. And she just goes, 'cause if it is, I'm gonna have to kill you. I am not kidding. Okay? This is the caliber of writing.
All right.
In this movie. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. More lasers start happening. And he ends up like grabbing her by the hand and like holding her hand up in the path of the laser. And it cuts off her fingers.
Okay.
And she's like, oh, God. And she's down on the ground. And he's like, yeah, that's right. That's right. And he's like, it's over. And she's like, yes, it is. And then tosses something at him. And it hits the ground. And he looks down. And it's a grenade pin. And then he's like, wait, what? And then he feels in his coat, and there is a grenade in his pocket. And then it like runs time back a second, and it shows her putting the grenade into his pocket while her fingers are being cut off on the other hand. So then it blows, okay? And it doesn't like blow him up. It just like blows a hole in his stomach. Okay? And he's like staggering around like he's about to die. And then he looks at her and he's like, I made you. And she's like, yeah, big mistake. So she takes the antivirus and then runs. And Claire is like, go, 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 while there's still time. And I was like, wasn't there just like 5 minutes left 15 minutes ago? So now that Isaacs is laying there and he's about to die. And then from his point of view, we see his computer parts saying to him like, oh, life support, critical, rebooting. So then Alice is outside, and she holds up the vial of the antivirus, and she is about to smash it down when Isaac shows back up and just cuts her hand off. And her hand just like falls to the ground with the vial in it.
Was it the hand that had lost the fingers?
Probably. I don't know.
It seems pretty important. You cut the hand off, then all you have is the other hand with no fingers on it.
All right. It just cut those off.
Oh.
Good luck making that apparent in the show. Okay, so at this point, he's like standing over her, and he's like, ha ha! And then the crazy clone Isaac shows up.
Fuck yeah.
And he's like, hey, I got you now. Wait, who the hell are you? And then Isaac's, the original, is just like, I am you, you dumbass. And he's like, what? No. And then the original is like, yeah, you are. Okay. He's like, I am not. And then he just turns to the original. Remember, he was leading an army of zombies, right? They were like right on his tail.
Yeah.
And he had all this time to like stand there and talk and like wonder about his mortality. And he's not a clone. Okay. He had a chance to like argue with him for a little while, and he just turns to the original and kills him. Then it shows Wesker, and he like drops the switch. So then all of the hive starts exploding. I guess Claire made it out somehow because she's in the end of the movie, but they didn't show it. And then the zombies take down the clone, Isaacs.
Ugh.
And they rip him apart. And right then, Alice smashes the vial. So then all of the zombies fall down dead. And then Alice starts to die. And she like, and then falls. Okay, and everything goes black. And then we start to see some flashes of light on the screen, and you hear really faint, like, Alice, Alice. And it's Claire talking. She's like, Alice, you did it. You did it, Alice. And then Alice wakes up, and she's alive. And it's daylight. Claire takes her over to some other console, because they're everywhere. And the Red Queen shows up, and she's like, why am I still alive? And she's like, well, the antivirus only kills the T-virus, so all it killed was, your infection. So now you are completely infection-free. And, you can go on and live your life, baby doll. Okay?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay. And Mila Jovovich starts crying. And Red Queen's like, oh, old Alice, she did one last thing for you before she died. She downloaded all of her memories into this for you. So now you can, because she never had a childhood. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that from the first movie. She's like, I don't know who I am. Okay. And then she mentioned that a few times in this movie. She's like, now you can have the childhood you never had. And you can be the woman that old Alice never got to become. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it just cuts to, like, some road outside of, like, Manhattan. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And there's Mila driving on some motorcycle down the highway into Manhattan. And you hear her voiceover, and she's like, so the antivirus is airborne. And, it'll be carried on the wind around the world and everything. But, it might take years for it to reach every corner of the globe. So until then, my work isn't done. And then behind her on the highway is like, the shadow of a dragon on the road. And then another one. And then yet a third one. So now she's being chased by 3 dragons.
Yeah.
And then she just goes, my name is Alice. And it's like, dun dun dun, credits roll. And then like 15 people in the theater started like raucous applause.
Oh, God.
Yeah, man. It was like,
Jeez.
damn it.
Was it just you and those 15 people?
No, okay, so this movie's been out like a week or two now.
Uh-huh.
It was in the smallest theater,
Yeah.
okay? But that theater was packed.
Oh, wow.
Now, I read on Media Stinger that there is an audio clip at the end of the credits. I was like, I am not sticking around for this. And then even on Media Stinger, they were like, it's not worth sticking around for. So there you have it, guys. Resident Evil, the final chapter on Movies with Ron.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God we finally did it. Greatest movie ever.
Pretty good recap, though.
Thanks.
I had a good time laughing.
Good. What do you think, Rick?
Yeah, that's garbage.
Yeah, told ya. Planet Earth.
Complete, utter trash.
Murderers.
I'm so glad it's the final
I
chapter.
wonder how many people died in the other ones.
Yeah.
Resident Evil films. See ya.
See, that's just it. I was like, why did she say that at the end? Until then, my work isn't done. It was like, that's the...
It's not the final chapter.
Yeah, that's the screenwriter talking to you. That's the director. That was a message for us.
Yeah. Fuck those assholes.
Fuck those assholes for real.
I remember playing the first game. There's zombies and shit. Eventually, near the end of the game, like, part of the game gets flooded, and there's like a shark.
Yeah.
You're like running from a shark.
Did that happen in any of the others?
I don't know.
Movies?
Zombie shark.
Just,
At one point, you had to fight a giant killer plant.
I don't know. They made it a Mad Max thing. That was
Yeah.
what ruined it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not... You mean the movies?
Yeah, yeah.
That's not what ruined it.
Now somebody needs to get to work on a belt-fed nail gun.
Fuck you guys.
It'd be awesome if you were a roofer.
You know how heavy the backpack would be?
It would be catching on the fabric and stuff. Strips of nails.
No, it was like... The belt was like enclosed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was... Oh, man, it was such an
right.
impossible nail gun. It was ridiculous.
Okay.
The nails would be catching on your clothes.
Dude, I remember that shit.
Yeah.
Folks, Get on that app, leave us a rating or a review. We'll read it on the show. Man, we really want those reviews.
Yeah, we love them, guys. Keep them coming.
Drop us a rating, too. Hit subscribe. Add us to your favorites. I just want those reviews. I can't say enough about the reviews. If anyone comes and talks to us, we say, what kind of phone you got? We're going to pull out your phone and make you make a review.
Yes, yes. Stop by. Drop a line. Say what's up. Speak your mind.
We're on Twitter and Instagram at Movies with Ron. We got a Facebook group. It's been fun.
Love you guys.
Take care.
Movies with Ron.
So wait a minute. Who was the
It was Doc.
but we never saw any kind of, did we?
He kept holding the gun
Yeah. Oh, okay.
at the table.
What the hell happened to him?
Yeah, sorry, I did glaze over that. So, after she, took control of the situation, Alice, disarmed him and had him on the ground. And he was like, oh, come on, man. Seriously, they made me do this, you know? Don't kill me. Please don't kill me. And then she goes, oh, yeah, that's cool. I'm not going to kill you. And then she just leaves. And behind her is Claire, who I also forgot to mention the whole time was his girlfriend.
Okay. All right.
So then Claire just walks towards him, and then it cut away.
I had sex with it.
What is that from?
Fucking Upright Citizens Brigade.
Oh my God, I had sex with it. Yeah, good catch, Rick. Thank you. Good save.